Welcome to episode 9 of the TarPack podcast. It is great to be with you. We're going to start with a UNC versus Miami review, followed by a UNC versus Virginia preview. And since NC State's on their bye week, I'll hand it over to Cam187, where he will grade the first half report card for NC State football. So it's a loaded episode today. Make sure to stick around. But like I said, getting started with the UNC versus Miami preview. I'm not going to lie. Was it a great performance from Carolina in this game? No. But it was still a convincing win, and that is a big sign of things to come for this UNC Tar Heel team. The fact that they can mess up so many things, have 14 penalties. Were all of them penalties? Maybe not. That's up for debate. But anyways, they didn't play their best football, especially in the first half. And it was one of Drake's worst games in his career, but he was still fantastic. That's how it's been, man. I mean, this UNC team can grow from here, but they've still been very, very good. So I'm going to start with my top 3 players of the game here. Number 1, I'm going with Tez Walker. He was an absolute impact in the passing game. And he's just a vertical stretch threat that you can't replicate. He's a guy that if this North Carolina team didn't have him, do they win this game? I'm not sure. Probably so, but not as handily. It was only a 10-point win, a 41-31 win, but it was a lot more clear that Carolina was a better team and better coached as well. Player 2 of the game, I'm going to do a kind of a top 5. Number 2, I'm going to go with Omarion Hampton. He was running all over the place against this Miami team. Very proud of Omarion, who has grown a lot since last year. The sophomore running back has been really fantastic for most of the year. He's had his up and down consistency games, but he was great against Miami this past week, who was previously the number 2 or number 1 run defense in the country. Omarion had a great game. So number 3 on the list, I'm going to go with Cedric Gray. Had an interception that was absolutely huge to get the Tar Heels back on pace and help them extend the lead that they had at the time. Cedric as well also had 10 tackles and a tackle for loss as well. And then kind of the next couple guys, I'm going to go with Kamen Rucker, 2.5 sacks and 6 tackles overall. And Drake May, of course, was still good. It wasn't his best performance, but he was still a great player in this game. So, yeah, Miami, they have a talented line of scrimmage, that's for sure, but they couldn't stack up as far as the skill positions were going. And Carolina made up in the second half for a lot of the deficiencies they had at the line of scrimmage. So I was proud of the team for this 10-point win. Could have been more. I've been saying that a lot, but this team can definitely continue to get better. So that's going to wrap up the UNC versus Miami preview. Let's get in, review. That's going to get us into the preview for Virginia versus UNC.
And just let me say this should just be very easy for predicting everything for this game, because we all know Virginia is just not good at all.
Yeah, that's true. Virginia is a very poor team, so we're going to kind of quickly go through this because I've already said basically everything that needs to be said in previous TarPack episodes as far as this goes. And we even talked about more in depth the Virginia team when they played NC State a few weeks back. But anyways, obviously Tony Muskett versus Drake May. Advantage goes to Drake May. There, don't need to say too much. Omarion Hampton, with the way that he's proved himself, they're better than Kobe Pace and the group that are in Virginia. Obviously, I'm going them. Same thing with the receiver and tight end. The running back, receiver, and tight end. The skill positions overall are just widely in favor of the Tar Heels. Now, I'm not saying that this is necessarily going to be absolute dominance from the Tar Heels, but we'll get into the predictions later. O-line, Carolina showed in the second half of the Miami game that they can be a good group. Because we saw it in that second half. D-line, same thing. Carolina has the advantage. Linebacker Cedric and Power Eccles are a great group. And in the secondary, they are showing great improvements as well. And as far as the coaching goes, I do think Mac Brown and his loaded staff are going to outlast Tony Elliott's staff. So let's get into the predictions here real quick. I'm going to go with Carolina 49, Virginia 14. I think this game is just Virginia is definitely outmatched. A lot of people would act like it's not a blowout enough, but I think Carolina could, Virginia can muster up a drive at the beginning against the Tar Heels, and maybe Carolina's not necessarily sleeping in this game because this is a very, very determined group. But, just like not playing their best football to start the game, but I think they'll maybe allow 10 points at half or maybe 7, and then they might when the backups are in, they might score again, in the final minutes of the game or something like that. But 49-14, I think it is absolute dominance from the Tar Heels in this game.
Yeah, and I got Carolina 51 and Virginia 7. I mean, this Virginia team has not been good this year. Obviously, they came close to beating NC State, which is very unfortunate. And you're going to see my whole team's grading through all the weeks that we have been through. We have a bye week this week, and it's not good. But obviously, Virginia is just not a good team. And Carolina is ranked 10. And
So that's going to wrap up the preview for UNC versus Virginia. Now let's get into the report card for the first half of NC State football.
And now it's time for the NC State football bye week report card. And starting out, we're going to do the ability to win games and just going through the whole list of everything, going down from ability to win games all the way down to overall. So starting out with ability to win game, I'm going to give NC State a D+. Obviously, we beat BMI, destroyed them, but it's BMI. Look at them.
Barely beat UConn.
And then Marshall, yes, they're 4-0. Yes, we're home. Yes, our defense will add 41 points to them. And yes, our own offense only scored 48. So D+. And then our offense, I'm going to give it an F+. They have not done anything this year. Running backs haven't done anything. Wide receivers haven't done anything. Quarterbacks have especially not done really anything at all, other than throw some nice interceptions at the end of games like Louisville. And then defense, man, C+. They had some good moments, but they have also allowed 41 points to Marshall. So
I think obviously a lot of State fans expected more from both the offense and defense here, especially the offense. No one expected the offense to be this bad. But I do agree with your grading so far.
And now QB play, it's just the F. Just the F.
MJ Morris has shown more signs.
MJ Morris has showed more signs about we scoring more points. But man, Brennan Armstrong, just how we wanted to get him over here so bad, just for this man to just be throwing interception. This man can't throw 300 yards against UConn. This man throws more incompletions and just can't even throw 300 yards against VMI. This is shameful.
It was a rough performance.
And now just running backs, D+, haven't been good at all either this year. Michael Allen and just them, they can't run over 2 yards really. It could have been higher because Jordan Houston was the only man that could do anything at all. At least get more than 2 yards, but he's gone, so our running backs are basically 2 yards or what? Or we could just make a Brendan Armstrong a full-on running back, and then we can get more yards.
That is actually not a terrible idea.
And now to the wide receivers, I'm going to give it a D-. Obviously, other than Casey Concepcion, he has been insane this year. If we were grading players, Casey Concepcion
really
would
good
be
for a freshman.
A B+. He's been very good. And obviously, if he was on another team, his stats would be way better because he would actually have catches to be able to catch. Every catch he has a chance to catch it, he catches it. Even though most of the time he doesn't have a chance because the quarterbacks are just atrocious. And tight end, D+. Obviously, Trent Penix had one good game with 2 touchdowns, and that's basically it.
Juice Vereen played more at the start, but for some reason they haven't wanted him to play as much recently.
Yeah, so tight end get a D+. Offensive line, a C. I really thought this group was going to be better than this. I mean, this has just been shameful.
But it is the best group on the offense, so it hasn't been the worst.
Yeah, but it's just still been very horrible. And then defensive line, B-. Honestly, I feel like
Getting decent pressure, getting some sacks.
we've been getting enough sacks. The Notre Dame game looked like, honestly, like our best game for sacks and stuff. It's just like I feel like we don't even try anymore. Just how shameful the season's been. Linebackers, I gave it a B+. And I literally just put Peyton Wilson is good. Because that's really the only linebacker that has really done a lot of stuff. And he's the best player on this team. And he's definitely there's no one even close to being better than him. He's definitely the best player on this team. And and now the defensive backs, I'm going to give it a C-. Obviously, Shaquem Battle and Aiden White have not been what I predicted them to be, like the first episode of the TarPack podcast where I gave them like 96 overall, which was just horrible rating by me. I like
how last year you pointed out how highly I ranked Tony Grimes and Storm Duck, and now it's this. I mean, don't get me wrong. Shaheem Battle and Aiden White are far better than Storm Duck and Tony Grimes, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's still just shameful. Special team play, I'm going to give it a B. I mean,
it is sad that this is one of the best areas on the team.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we have been having great punters. Our punter's good this year, too. And, I mean, that's really one thing that we can honestly consistently have good. Basically just punter. And then coaching.
Dave Doran.
Man, Dave Doran.
I think it's
From
time.
me thinking he's good to he must go.
Yeah, I think it's time for him to go. Do you agree?
I mean, we need to win more games than just this, man. I mean,
yeah, and the offensive coordinator addition has not been near what we thought. I mean, to be fair, the players haven't been playing great, but the coordinating hasn't been great either.
Now, obviously, Tony Gibson, the only
He
man
does his
I'm
job.
fine to keep on this team. I want to keep Tony Gibson on this team, and that's basically it. And then overall, I'm going to give it a D. Pretty shameful all around the board, except for Peyton Wilson and the defensive line and offensive line and special teams, and that's basically it. And then defensive back hasn't been horrible either, really. So really just the defense and Tony Gibson and special teams and Peyton Wilson, and that's basically it.
I agree. All right, so that is going to wrap up episode 9 of the TarPack podcast. Thank you guys for enjoying this video and watching. Good week of college football this upcoming week as the Pack going to bye, and Carolina has Virginia, and some other games across the country are very good as well. Here soon we're going to do ACC rankings for the season and rank the ACC teams. But thank you guys for watching, and go Heels.
Go Pack.